Hello and welcome. The title of the message today is Amen. United in unity. But let's begin by affirming together our opening statement. There is only one presence and one power in my life and the universe, God. I invite you now to take a deep breath with me, gently but fully filling your lungs and relaxing into this moment. Perhaps being aware of your breath, bringing your attention to right here and right now, wherever your feet are. And so it is. Amen. And so the title of the message today is Amen. United in unity. Seems like a little strange title. So let's talk about that word, Amen. It's come into the English language and probably several other languages from the ancient Hebrew or the ancient Aramaic. It's the same word in Aramaic or in Hebrew. Amen is pronounced, depending on the dialect, in Aramaic as Amen or Amin. We commonly use it in English at the end of a prayer. It's a way of saying the end, the prayer is over. But there's a much deeper meaning to this word when it's heard with ancient Aramaic ears. And I'd like to go into some of that right now. The root letters from Aramaic of the word Amin are the same as the root letters for the word faith. Yes, that substance upon which we stand. And with this in mind, we can translate Amen as our ground of confidence, or our ground of feeling the unity, feeling united in sacred unity. You see, there's this feeling of oneness, this substance that's at the back of everything. It might be easier to understand this if we look at the idea of God in Aramaic. The Aramaic word that's translated as God is Allah. Now, Allah, translated as God, loses the Near Eastern context. It loses that meaning that would come to a native Aramaic speaker in Jesus' time. Because we have so many associations that go with the word God. And not just we, everyone with this Western culture, with this Western worldview, is going to see God differently than someone who is coming from that ancient Near Eastern perspective. Allah. You've heard me translate it as self-existent consciousness. And yes, that's a good way of looking at it. Self-existent, meaning it's the only thing that is. And consciousness, meaning that it is mental stuff. This stuff of faith, this substance, this mental substance. God is spirit, so it's spirit. But to hear this word from a Near Eastern perspective, we have to remember that for an Aramaic speaker in Jesus' time, there is no separation between what is temporal and what is spiritual, between what is of this world and what is of the celestial world. There is no there is no difference. There is only one united field of energy, this Allah, this self-existent consciousness. We bring these associations of Allah, of this being united in unity, when we speak the word Amin, Amen, Amen. You see, Jesus didn't use the word Amen only to end a prayer. He also used it when he was about to say something that was important, something that came not from his ego self, but something that came from his being in harmony with the I am consciousness that was within him, that he fully realized that his life and his teaching was a guide to our realization of this same I am presence. So when he had something big to say, when he was speaking not from his ego, but from his self with a capital S, when he was in this state that I call Ruah, the Aramaic word for spirit, as opposed to Nafsha, self, he would introduce the teaching with Amen. Amen, Amen. And so I say. It's translated in our Bibles, in English, as truly, truly, I say to you. I'll give you an example from the Gospel according to John in chapter 8 and verse 51. He says, truly, truly, I say to you, whoever obeys my word shall never see death. Truly, truly, from this truth. Now, I don't want to get into the interpretation of this particular verse. It's just an example of how Jesus used that word Amen to introduce an important teaching. A teaching that came not from him, but from the I am within him. This word, Amen. When it introduces a saying, it's saying to us, it is saying to the hearer that these words I am about to speak, they don't come from me. They come from truth. They come from the fact that right now, as I am speaking, that my Nafsha self is in harmony with Ruah. That the I am of me is the dominant, is the active presence in my reality in this moment. And the words that I speak can be heard in confidence that they are truth being shared in language, a language that is pointing to you to realize truth for yourself. Amen. And so it is. It's so much more than just an ending. You might even hear it as Amen. All is in divine order. And so it is. So, there is this idea of Allah. An idea that tries to express all that is God. We can never express something so vast, so incomprehensible to our intellectual mind with language. But by having words, we're able to talk about it, to try and help ourselves and those we are in contact with to realize that truth for themselves, for ourselves. Jesus showed us the way by his example and by his teachings. We open ourselves to the Comforter, the Spirit within, allowing our Nafsha self, our sense of a separate self, to be brought in harmony with Ruah, that which is in us that knows that we are united in sacred unity. That's what this word Amen means. I have this feeling, a knowing from my heart that we are, all of us, all of existence, united in sacred unity. Allah. I thank you for listening. Let's close with our prayer for protection and an invitation to find Allah, the Amin, in our life, in our experience. And so, the light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. Thank you.